Today we're going to be reading about a fable. I'm going to read y'all a fable, tell y'all a fable. This is one I was told as a little child, and it's got a meaning to it. But I want y'all to gain the meaning after I read the story. Just listen closely. We'll talk about it, okay? The story's called The Hare with Many Friends. There once was a hare who had so many friends in the forest and field that she truly felt to be the most popular member of the animal kingdom. One day, she heard the hounds approaching. Why should a popular creature like me have to run for my life every time she hears a dog? She said to herself. So she went to the horse and asked him to carry her away from the hounds on his back. There's nothing I would rather do, friend hare, said the horse, but unfortunately, right now, I have some important work to do for my master. However, a popular creature like you should have no difficulty in getting someone to help you. Then the hare went to the bull and asked him whether he would be kind enough to ward off these hounds, these dogs, with his horns. My dear friend, replied the bull, you know how I feel about you and how glad I always am to be of service. But at this very moment, I have an appointment with a lady. Why don't you ask our mutual friend the goat? But the goat was busy too. And so was the ram. So was the calf. And the pig. And the donkey. Each assured the hare of his undying friendship and anxiety to aid in her trouble. But each had some excuse which prevented him from performing the service. By this time, the hounds were quite near, so the hare took to her heels and luckily escaped. Okay? So that's the story of the hare with many friends. Okay? So now we're going to look up some vocabulary words. Okay? So get your dictionaries off your table. The very first one we're going to be looking up is approaching. Let's look up approaching. Everybody know where to go to look up approaching. Find it. Everybody find approaching? Everybody there, show me your hands if you found it yet. Okay, we're getting there. Just a few more seconds to find approaching. Okay, can you read it out loud for me what approaching means?
To come in or near in place or time.
Okay. So has it just got one meaning?
No.
It's got several meanings. Okay? But the first one is usually our most common one. So we'll say to come near or nearer is approaching. And that story is used in our story. Okay? Let's go ahead and look at the second one, hare. H-A-R-E. Does anybody know what a hare is before we look it up?
Rabbit.
Rabbit, okay. Let's see what the dictionary says it is. I think you're right. H-A-R-E. Find it? Show of hands. How many of y'all found it? Are we getting there? A few more seconds. Okay, everybody there? All right. Can you read hair for me? What's hair say?
Yes, and
Animals similar to rabbits, but having longer ears and legs.
So what does it say about the hair? What is it? It's having longer what? Ears and legs. So we knew it was a rabbit already, but that definition helped us tell it that it had longer ears and legs. Okay? Let's look up two more. Let's look up unfortunately. Let's go to the U's. Let's go towards the back. RSTU. Anybody found it yet? One person? UNFORT. Help your neighbor if you've already found it. Help them find it.
So you're going to find it listed as unfortunately?
no.
What is the word you're going to find?
Unfortunate.
No, doesn't have the ly on the end. Okay, what does unfortunate say in the dictionary?
Having
Okay, having undeserved bad luck, unlucky. Okay, and let's do one more. Let's do mutual. Let's find out what mutual is. Help your neighbor if you've already found it.
Look at your guide words. You're looking for M-U-T. Look at the top bold words on the top of the pages. Turn to you see M-U-T. Mutual. M-U-T-U-A-L. Guys, it's okay if you turn more than one page at a time.
All right, everybody there?
Yeah.
All right, let's read me what the first meaning of mutual is.
Having the same relationship to each other.
Okay, let's read, let's see, this one's got 3 definitions. Let's read the second one. Possessed or shared in common. Okay, and then the third one's what? Equal amounts. Okay, so I guess we would be using possessed or shared in common on this one. All right, let's go back to our story. Let's talk about our story some more. That story I read, y'all, what is the setting of this story? Woods. Where else? Field. Yeah, woods and fields. It actually says the forest and the field. Forest is pretty close to being woods, right? Anybody in here live on a farm? I think the hare, you know, it could be the setting of the story, you know, right around this area right here, you know. So all these animals in this story, you know, we have them around our area right here. So yeah, really the woods and the field would be our theme or our setting of the story. How about our theme of the story? What does the story tell us? What kind of lesson does this story tell us? Does anybody have any idea? Anyone?
Don't rely on somebody else.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Does anybody else get anything else from it? Never be lazy. Yeah. I mean, everyone in here is getting older in school every day. You know, you're getting more independent. So don't rely on others. Do things for yourself. When you know it's good to have friends, but you need to do things for yourself as well. So that might be some possible ideas about a theme. Does anybody else take anything else from the story?
Don't rely on, do what you need to do.
Yeah, yeah. And we all have many challenges, so yeah, that would be a good one. Okay. So let's go to my chart here. Let's talk about some unknown words. Okay? Alright, y'all have dictionaries on your desk. Does everybody know what a dictionary is? What's a dictionary? It is. It's a book with lots of meanings. Pretty much every word in our language is in a dictionary. And it has the different types of nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. It's going to tell you what type of word it is. Different meanings, like we seen with mutual. It had 3 different meanings to it. It's going to tell you different meanings. And it's going to use it in a sentence most of the time for you. Does anybody know the difference between a dictionary and a glossary? It might be tough. How about a glossary? What's a glossary?
A glossary is only has words. It's in the back of a book and it only has the words in the book.
Good. Yeah. Your key terms, like your vocabulary words most of the time, and your history books, your reading books, they're going to be bold. Even your science books, they're going to be bold lettering, italics, and a lot of times your teachers are going to ask you to look up the words in the back of the book, and that's going to be your key terms. Okay. So that's kind of the difference between a glossary and a dictionary. Still got the same meanings, but it's more geared for that book, like Luke said. That's good. Okay. Somebody want to hold my chart? Hold my chart for me right here. Want to read the first one for me?
Find the words in the dictionary or glossary.
Okay, so when we're talking about unknown words, that's our first thing that we're going to do. We're going to look up our words in a dictionary or glossary. Okay. Second one on the chart.
Read the punctuation to yourself.
Pronunciation. Read the pronunciation. It's got a pronunciation in there, and that's how we actually pronounce the word out. So you'll read that to yourself. Third one for me.
Read all the meanings given for the word.
Like we seen with mutual, it had several different meanings to it. And then the fourth one goes with number 3. What's the fourth one?
Choose the meaning that makes sense in your sentence.
Okay, great. So that's what we did with mutual. We found which one made the best sense in our story. So that's how that we handled that. Okay. Let's go ahead and get. You can shut up your dictionaries for right now. Get your reading books out. Let's turn to page 94. We're going to read the passage on 94. Okay. Everybody 94? Alright, who's going to be my reader? Okay, you're going to read for me? 94. I just want the first paragraph. Read the first paragraph for me. Everybody listen closely.
On the third day, the rain increased, and I went to look for things which I would need in building the house. I like otherwise new poles were fenced, I was soon killed wild dogs. But there were many smaller foxes on the mountain. So they were so numerous that I could never hope to get rid of them, either by traps or with arrows. They are clever thieves, and nothing I store will be safe till I have done.
Okay, good. Thank you. Has anybody seen unknown words in there? In that passage that we just read? What's an unknown word for you in that passage? Huh? I read this same story, and there was a few unknown words that I had to look up myself. In the first sentence, on the third day, the rain ceased. Does anybody know what ceased means? Does everyone know what ceased means? Okay, so I think that would be an unknown word. So ceased would be an unknown word, and then later on in the same passage, 5 sentences down, first word, numerous. They were so numerous. Anybody know what numerous is? Few people don't know what it is, so I think we should look up those two words. So let's flip back in our dictionaries one more time to ceased. C-E-A-S-E-D.
What word are y'all really looking at? Cease, because can you look at cease because it's past tense.
When you find the word, help your neighbor if they haven't found it yet.
Help your neighbor. C. First with an S. I mean C. Just tell me C makes the S sound. So go all the way back to the C. Keep turning.
Okay, everybody find it?
C-A.
15 more seconds to find it. All right, how many definitions is there for cease?
One.
Just one. So we don't have to read over to see which one's the best definition. Okay. Does everyone see right after cease it's got parentheses? It's got an S and it's got an E with a abbreviation sign over it and then another S and then the close of parentheses?
Yes, sir.
That's our pronunciation we were just talking about. And it says we use ceased would be past tense, ceasing, or ceases. Okay, let's read that definition. Okay, and then it's got two different sentences, right? Let's read the sentences. The noise ceased, the factory ceased production. And then it's even got a synonym. Okay? So one more word to look up. Numerous. N-U-M-E-R-O-U-S. Numerous. And that story was in our passage.
Guys, make sure you're using these guide words at the top of your pages. They will help you tremendously. Some bold words. So we're still on the M's. Maybe some more. Right, we're still on the M's. Now we're to the N's. That's N-E. So find N-E. You have to turn some pages. Keep looking at the top. All I want you to do is look at the top till you see MU. Keep going. You want MU. Guys, help your neighbors if they need it. Look, what letter is that? N-O. So keep going. We're looking at MU. Oh, there we go. On that page. On that page. Find it on that page. Find it.
All right, let's read numerous. What is a numerous? Amounting. Okay, and then how's it used as a sentence? Okay, so there's numerous. Is amounting to a large number, many. Okay? Let me get one more volunteer. I need another sign hound. Okay, we're going to read about themes and settings now. Okay, who can read my first one on themes and settings?
The theme is the underlying meaning of the story.
Yes, the theme is underlying meaning of the story. It's the underlining meaning of the story. Okay, second one.
The theme is often not
Stated.
stated. You can find the theme
Yeah, a lot of times writers isn't going to tell us the theme. We're going to have to go off what he describes. Let's talk about setting now. Read setting for me, the first one.
The setting is where and when the story takes place. Writers use
Figurative.
figurative language and details such as sights and sounds to
describe.
the setting.
So right there it's telling us when they use figurative language, they're using a lot of details such as sights and sounds. And then the last one for me.
Graphic organizers.
Graphic.
Graphic organizers are describing stories.
Okay, and I drew a graphic organizer at the bottom to describe how we would find a setting. We would use sounds, sights, smells, feelings, taste, or different senses and such to find the setting of the story. So that's how we would find the setting. Okay. Flip back your textbooks to 92. Flip right back over to 92. Read 92 for me, please. Okay. All right. Another reader on 93. You read 93.
The thing that made me decide on the place to build my house was the sea elephants. The cliffs here fell away easily to a wide shelf that was partly covered when the tide came in. It was a good place for sea elephants because they could crawl halfway up the cliff if the day was stormy.
Okay.
On fair days they could fish among the corn or lie on the docks.
Okay. The next paragraph. Read the next one for me.
On this, the bull is very large and often weighs as much as 30 men. The cows are much smaller, but they make more noise than the bulls, screaming and barking through the whole day and sometimes at night. The babies are noisy too.
Okay. About that passage that we just read, those three different passages, three different paragraphs. After reading that, what do you think the setting of this would be? How are we going to use some of the author's clues to tell what the setting is in this? Anybody got any ideas? What do you think the setting would be?
The coast, the beach.
Yeah, I think it would be the beach, the coast. I mean, that's a very good observation. What else from 92 would tell you it would be the coast?
The seal.
The big sea lion. It's going to tell you. It's the sea cow is going to tell you that it's near the water. And the illustration. Does anybody see the illustration? You'll see the blue water in the background. That tells us it's near the water too. So, what do you think the theme might be of that passage that we just read? Anybody? What did you take from it as a reader? What did you take?
Well, like she was trying to find a good place to make a house.
Yeah. She's sounds like she's new to the island. Just from reading that passage, not from reading the whole story, but she's trying to find some kind of shelter to build. Describing the different kind of animals that she's up against in nature. You take anything else from it?
The wild dog.
Yeah, there was wild dogs. There was what? What else did she said she was going to try to kill off the wild dogs, and what was left that was going to steal her stuff? Red foxes. That's right. Okay. Does anybody got any questions? Okay. Well, let's go to your worksheet packets, and let's go to, I think it's worksheet 52, 53. Let's go to worksheet 53. The theme and setting.
Alright, it says practice. Think about Matt's story from this week. We talked about Matt yesterday. Matt had a problem. What was Matt's problem?
He couldn't
He couldn't find his homework. Lucas, why could he not find his homework?
His room was messy.
His room was messy.
Well, what was his solution to his problem?
He wanted to get organized.
Okay. Good. He wants to get organized and stay organized. So question 1, what is the theme of Matt's story? Drake just told us. What is it?
Matt wants to get organized.
And stay organized. Okay? Now, we've talked about this before. Writers like to use those sensory details. What are your sensory details? What are your 5 senses? What do we do with our ears? Hear.
See.
Smell.
Taste.
And feel. Because when authors use those details, is it more interesting? Does it make you want to keep reading? Yes, it does. So, looking at this picture, what do you see in Matt's room? And I also want you to think about what you would hear in Matt's room. Connor.
A bunch of clothes and all that.
Oh. I see clothes. Where? Where are the clothes? On the bed and floor. What else do we see?
His oracle.
Oh. We see a clock. What else?
A hat.
A hat. Oh, he's got his hat. Where's his hat?
On his bed.
On his bed. What else? Is there anything else we see, Drake?
A drink that spilled on the floor.
Oh, he has spilled a drink all over. I think that might be a nightstand. So we see a drink. Okay. There's other things we can see too, correct? All right, now I want you to think about, I'm going to go ahead and put, I see papers. Look at that messy desk he has. And papers. All right, remember we also talked about we want to know what we would hear. If we were in Matt's room, what's something we might hear?
We might have the air conditioner.
We might hear the air conditioner.
His paper.
Oh, his paper's moving.
His alarm clock going
His
off.
clock. I might hear, we said the air conditioner the clock. And also, someone said, and papers. What would papers do? Crackle or rustle. Let's put crackle. That's a good word. All right. Now, we see what Matt's room's like, and we know what we can see. We know what we hear. Now they want us to imagine that we're in his dining room. We're in his dining room. What's something we might see in his dining room?
Food.
Oh, food.
Drink.
I might see food, drinks,
Table.
ooh,
Dirty
table,
Chairs.
table, chairs. Okay.
Dirty dishes.
Oh, where they've already eaten supper might be. I want you to think. What might you hear in the dining room?
The water cup. The water.
Water. Okay.
Drain.
Water
You might hear people eating.
You might hear them eating because sometimes do people eat quietly?
No.
No. Sometimes they like to, if they get something that's kind of stuck to their teeth, you think they might open and close their mouth and make a smacking noise. If you've eaten caramel before, ooh, trying to get your teeth undone. So we might hear eating. I think my homeroom said smacking. What about, do you think you might hear a fork hitting the table? Possibly.
Talking.
People might be talking. Notice how I'm trying to write this as quickly as I can, but I'm also trying to write in complete sentences. You need to practice that. All right. Now, this one wants you to infer. They really want you to stretch out there. Imagine Matt is an organized person. Yeah, I know you can't tell it from that picture. Imagine that he's organized. What would his room look like then? Clean, neat. It would be clean. What about the papers? What would the papers be?
Organized.
How would they be organized?
Put your stack.
Papers would be stacked.
Backpack.
What about his bed?
His bed would be fixed. It would be clean. It would
Would it
be
be made?
made up. That spill on the
Oh, there would be no spill. Look under that though. What's going on with this?
drawer sock.
Oh, it's a drawer. It's a sock hanging out of a drawer. So what would his drawers be?
Clothes.
Alright, so his drawers would be closed. Okay. Anybody have a question about Matt? And what his room's gonna look like if he's an organized person? When you finish that, let's look at page 52 on your sheet. These are your unknown words. We've already had a lesson about those. Where, if you don't know, if you don't understand an unknown word, where do you look?
In the
Dictionary. Or a glossary if it's a book. Yes. Check to see if your book has a glossary. Otherwise, go to the dictionary. All right, I'm waiting. I'm going to give you just another second or two. I'm going to start erasing and move to the next, to move to that page so everyone can read that passage a little easier. You have it in front of you and up here. Go ahead and start reading it silently, so when we read it aloud, we can all understand it and be able to read it fluently. Just start for just a minute. Okay. Are we ready? All together, let's begin reading. Gina's mother was a marine biologist. Gina and her mother spent most summers aboard a research vessel. They were searching for the mollusks that Gina's mother studied. Gina helped the scientists chart their data collection. Most days went by calmly. But one day, the ship's sonar picked up the remains of a shipwreck. Notice my voice changed a little bit because what does that last sentence end with? An exclamation mark. And an exclamation mark expresses what? Strong feelings. So I want to make sure I stress that. So this passage is about Gina and her mother. It said that Gina's mother was a marine biologist. If I want to look up the word marine biologist, how would I look that up? I look it up in the dictionary. See if you see marine biologist in your dictionary. M-A-R-I-N-E. Raise your hand when you find marine biologist. M-A-R-I-N-E. B-I-O-L-O-G-I-S-T. See if you see marine biologist. Now, let me go back. Who has found marine biologist? All right, let's help each other out. What page are we on?
600.
Is it 599 or 600? 600. Turn to page 600. See if you see the words marine biologist. Okay, Kaylee, did you find marine biologist? No, what did you find? Marine. Oh. Now, it doesn't have marine biologist. What would I do to find out what a marine biologist is? We would read marine, and what other word would I have to look up? Biologist. So hold your place there on marine. Tell me what it is. Definition 1.
Of or relating to the sea.
Of or relating to the sea. Read definition 2.
Living or found in the sea.
Living or found in the sea. And definition 3.
Of or relating to shipping or navigation.
Okay. Those are all definitions if marine is an adjective. Read the noun definition number 1.
A soldier serving on a ship or at a naval base.
Okay. And number 2.
A member of the U.S. Marine Corps.
Okay. So we're a little familiar with marine. So let's mark that page and let's look up biologist. Sometimes if it's more than one word, will you have to look up both words to find out the definition? Yes. B-I-O. B-I-O. B-I-O-L-O-G-I-S-T. Okay, what page is biologist found on? 101. What does biologist say? Okay, a scientist that specializes in biology. So, and we said marine meant what?
Of or relating to the sea.
Of or relating to the sea. So, what is a marine biologist?
Somebody who studies.
Think about biologist. Start with biologist again. Okay, so we know that a biologist is a scientist, right?
Yes.
So now let's look at marine. So we know that a marine biologist is a scientist who, what does marine tell us? So a scientist who studies what?
The sea.
The sea and what else?
Ocean.
Shipwrecks. The sea.
And maybe what lives in it, you think? So we can conclude, based on reading both of those, a scientist studies. What do we think? The forms of the sea and sea life, maybe? What do you think? That close?
Yeah.
Because marine means of the sea, and biologist is a scientist who studies life forms. So, studies sea life. Take that photo. Sea life sounds better. All right. Number 2, we're looking at the word vessel. What do you think a vessel is? Oh, it is a thing in our body. Is there another type of vessel?
A boat.
A boat. So let's look in our dictionary for vessel. And think back to the passage we read. And I want your table to discuss with each other and decide which definition it goes to out of your dictionary. Look up vessel. V-E-S-S-E-L. Vessel is one of those multiple meaning words. V-E-S-S-E-L. Vessel. Read those 3. And the sentence that it's on, here it is. Tina and her mother spent most summers aboard a scientific research vessel. Okay, discuss with your table. Describe which definition you agree on.